You better break.
All right, we live now. Hold on.
What's up, everybody, man? It's another episode of the D Start Show, man. We got a good one for you tonight, man. Hey, what's going on with you, Jordan and Akiva?
Man, we doing pretty good. We got a special guest we've had on our show before, but she's made some more accomplishments since we spoke to her last time. Lifetime accomplishments, if you will. And it's pretty interesting because we really wanted her on the domestic violence show, which again was a very good show. Regardless, I encourage all the listeners to go check it out. But because of what Robin does, I know she would have had great contributions to that particular episode. But Robin, go back, check it out. I think we did our thing on the domestic violence show. But the next one we would like to have you on as well. So we're gonna jump right into it, man. We're interviewing Robin today because she has received the Lifetime Achievement. It's a Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award, correct?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Presidential Lifetime Achievement.
That's big, man.
That is big.
Yeah. She did a thing on that one. I saw the picture. Matter of fact, hold on a second. We got the picture so y'all can check it out.
Beautiful picture, by the way.
We got the picture of her standing with Joe, man, and everything. So congratulations to you again. I know it probably hasn't been an easy journey. I know it's probably been a long journey, but we're gonna let you tell us about it on this show. So take me back to what the day was like to get the award. I know normally when I get an award or something, I'm real nervous because I don't like I get awards.
Don't do them like that today, Akiva.
She's gonna try to cut up on me. But tell me what the day was like, because typically when you get an award or get recognized, a lot of people get nervous. Are you one of those people who gets nervous?
I'm used to. I kind of got used to it now because it's been happening so much, over the course of the last several years. But this one was pretty special. I have to say that. It was unexpected. When I did get the phone call, I was a little puzzled, I'll say, but it didn't hit me. It really didn't hit me until even after I had received the award. So, but she did give me a call and she told me I was nominated and I was ultimately selected to receive the Lifetime Achievement Award. So I was really honored.
Is that and sorry to interrupt you, is that an award that you get with other individuals at the same time, or is it just like how does that work?
Well, when I got there were several other individuals, mainly women, that were receiving the award. There was about myself and about 6 other ladies that the award for various type of contributions to the community, and it was really a good, nice setting environment. I couldn't stay long for the event because another radio show interview that I had to be to immediately after that. So
At this point you're famous, and I like that for you. So
booked and busy.
I'm telling you. So when you got the phone call that said you were nominated, did you think that you were going to get the award at that moment? Just being nominated?
I did not. I really, but she did call me back. I guess however she did call back and she said that congratulations, you have been selected to receive the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award. I was like, me? I'm a couple person, so, and I'm still, even though it's something that is very honorable, a prestigious award, I'm just humbled about it. I'm just not, when you're doing things out of the kindness of your heart,
Right.
things that God has allowed you to do and touch other people's lives, you just don't expect anything in return. And I think that's just me. I just did not expect anything in return. But a lot of things that I have been doing is being seen, and I'm proud to at least share that. I'm proud to share with anybody I can share it with.
Yeah.
So now, what are some of the things that you've been doing that have gotten you recognized for the Presidential Achievement Award? It looks like Calvin just jumped on in the stage. I'm gonna let him in. Give me 1 second. Calvin, you in the
How y'all doing, man?
interviewing Robin Starks on the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award. And we were just asking her about some of the things that she's getting recognized for and getting this award. So I know you do a lot of community work. I've seen your Facebook. You've been very active, but tell me about some of those networking experiences that you've been doing and what you've been doing for the community that got you the award that you've received.
Well, some of the things that I'm very passionate about is gun. Gun violence is something that has taken a toll on the community across the nation. And it's something that has affected all of our lives, even having family members that have been shot down in the middle of the streets. It's something that's touching, and it affects other people. So that's one thing that I have spoken about publicly. I've been featured on several television shows, NBC6 down here. I was also asked to speak at another public function with one of our elected officials here in South Florida, talk about gun violence. So that's one thing that I'm very passionate about, even though, I have my two boys and I thank God, for them, that He's covering them. There's other family and friends that I know that have lost their children to gun violence.
I wanted to ask you, with that being said, I know you said gun violence is something that's really close to your heart. Are an officer of the law. What kind of got you started on your journey as far as being an officer and going into law enforcement and things of that nature?
Well, to be honest, I did not like cops.
Right.
And I kept getting stopped by these police. I was like, and they was just nasty, just bad demeanors, just didn't know how to speak to people. And then I was like, darn, there got to be some good cops out there somewhere. And honestly, I just really did not think about it. I end up being hired with the police department as a public service aide. But I didn't know I had family that was there that said, no, just upgrade to become a police officer because they made more money. I said, I'm not doing this for the money. I was happy as a public service aide, but you know what? I also had that negative experience with law enforcement, that I felt that there were good people out there. So honestly, I did the transition, and I vowed to this day to be a good officer and to be a good person. And right now I'm an assistant chief, and I've gone through the various ranks. And being an assistant chief, I even tell my personnel now, I say, I'm not going to allow a uniform to be who I am. And and I explained to them, I'm not going to forget where I came from. Because when people don't know about other people's history, they automatically stereotype you in thinking that you were raised a certain type of way. And for me and my family, we weren't. We weren't raised with a silver spoon in our mouth. We weren't raised. We had no food in our house at one point. And I did grow up in an environment. My father was very abusive. Used to beat my mom bad right there in front of us. But when he was gone, our lives changed. Our lives changed to where we had to go hiding at one point. My mother had us up in a hotel,
I think she froze on us a little bit. There we go.
I can't hear.
So that's, can y'all hear?
Yeah.
Yeah, we hear you now.
So that's much, how I got into the field of law enforcement. And I've been in this profession for
Yeah, look,
That's the audio.
because I'm giving back to the community.
Yeah.
Okay.
We didn't hear how many years you've been in, Miss Robin.
Been 34 years. I started in law in 1989.
Wow, that's a long time, 34
Now,
years.
you was around South Florida when they had the cocaine coming through that extra heavy.
Come on, Joy.
Hey man, hey, listen.
I was around when the riots took place. I wasn't an officer then, but when the riots took place in the 80s, I was right here in Miami, Florida.
Right.
I do have a question for you. Like, what makes a good officer?
Great question.
Honestly, anyone can be a good officer, but I think people that have a passion for the community, I think that have experienced certain things, have a story to tell, are good officers. It's hard for
I can't hear her. If y'all, I can't hear.
I think a microphone's going.
Robin, can you make sure your mic is not covered for us? Or it might be like a little debris in the way, because then we get rough.
I had a call coming in. That's
Oh,
probably
thank you.
She said she a busy woman. Well, listen, we're not gonna take too much of your time, but go ahead with your question, Calvin. I was listening, but I didn't quite hear.
Yeah, I couldn't really hear her. I said, what makes you a good officer? Like, what makes someone a good officer? But I really couldn't hear her because it was going back and forth.
you can hear me okay now?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
The call I had coming. A good I think a good officer it can be anyone. But I think people that have had experiences in their upbringing are those that makes a difference. And again, I could be totally wrong. Sometimes people can take, the negativity of what they experience in their lives and bring it into the law enforcement profession and use it. But I think overall, a good person is one that has a passion for the community, a
Right.
person not self-centered, only thinking about them, and also a person that's a servant leader, somebody that leads by example, but want to make a difference to bring other people up in a more positive aspect, in a more positive environment. Because what we live in can be negative. I mean,
Absolutely.
I don't want to live in a mansion. That's something that people say, well, why do you live where you live? I said, because this is where I grew up at.
Right.
Absolutely.
I could easily get a house out west, the big old mansions. And that's not what I want. I don't want to live in that kind of house. Could I have? Absolutely. I want a plain old house. And I think this one too big for me too. But I'm grateful for what I have. So anyone can be a good officer. It's just a matter of what they have to give to the community and if they really truly care, you know.
Right.
Okay, I got another question for you. So you said you started in the 80s, correct?
Yes.
So as a black woman in the police force, what were some of the struggles you had to deal with? Because we we were still pretty much in it was still racism back then, like really
Yeah,
heavy.
erase them now.
So I mean it's racism now, but like being a black woman as a police officer, what did you have to deal with, and how did you overcome that to be able to stay in the force for 34 years?
So that's a very good question. I tell you that when I started my career where I was at. I was the only and the only black female that worked in a majority Hispanic area, and I was the only black on the department and that worked in that area. So they didn't speak to me, even though I was speaking when I walked into roll call. And I made sure I spoke every single day that I walked in there, whether they spoke to me or not. I still stayed focused and I stayed in the direction of why I took the profession. Were women stereotyped? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Reason why you want to take the job, you'll get pregnant and end up behind a desk, and not working in the streets. That wasn't me. Now, did I end up pregnant? I did. Did I when my time was to get back in the streets, that's what I wanted to do. So it was. I have to thank God though, because I was always humble. I always stayed positive, regardless of whoever I worked with. Were there were there men and probably women too, but mostly men that tried to hit on me sexually? I had to let them know I wasn't with that. I want to earn whatever it is that I got. So, did I have men that tried to nitpick on every single thing, whether it's my uniform, my earrings, or how I looked? Absolutely. But I always stayed within policy. I always guidelines because I never wanted to give anyone any leverage over me. So that's why I stayed in compliance with the policies and procedures. But even today, as a Black woman, you still have, because not only are you faced with men that are, let me say this, I'm a Black woman that is a doctor that has my doctorate degree,
I know that's right.
well recognized in the community. I've received over 35 commendations in my career of law enforcement. I've been recognized in magazines. I'm going to stop because I don't want it to interrupt.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I've been featured on MIA magazine here in South Florida, one of the prominent owners in South Florida. Also, one of the Black uh, female professionals in South Florida. I've been featured in Santana's magazine, which is an international magazine. So I am a woman that I'm not a dummy. I do have experience in any and everything that I've done. So there's nothing that I have not endured in that I can't share with other people.
Okay.
Um, so I am one, because I am a beautiful Black woman, regardless of what anyone
There you
says.
go.
I am a beautiful Black woman, but I'm an intelligent, beautiful Black woman. So that can be very intimidating to most men, I'll say. Even some women, Black women as well. So it's something that I've lived with. I have trained like thousands of officers at the police academy here. I'm a certified defensive tactics and firearms instructor. So I'm one to be reckoned with, and
Okay.
I know. So I keep my head up. I stay positive, but I'm also one that's going to speak my mind when there's things that I disagree with. So there has been some things that I experienced last year after doing my law enforcement profession for 30 something years. And ultimately, I've spoken out against that department and that chief, because what took place was wrong. And I can't condone, I'm not free to something when it's wrong. So y'all can just type my name up on now. Talk about type my name and it should just pop up. But
To
in this,
start,
yes,
I don't want to interrupt you, but I want to get back to your award for a moment. Where did you go to receive your award? Where was the location?
the location was in Aventura. It was at I think it's a JW Marriott. It was
Okay.
at in one of
Gotcha.
the high price areas in South Florida.
Why is that award so special for you? You said that you received over 35 other commendations throughout your law enforcement career. Why is this one so special?
Because it lets you see that other people see the value of what you do. Um, because of that, it is a special and it's an honor because that had nothing to do with the field of law enforcement. It's just been everything else that I've
Right.
been in the community, and that's why that one is so much more special.
Gotcha.
Dr. Starks, I do have a question I would like to ask you. And I guess that question is, when it comes to the youth and their view against law enforcement, especially with the climate and the nature of the times that we are in now, what's kind of like a message that you give the youth, young men, young women, when it comes to interacting with law enforcement, trusting law enforcement in their neighborhood, locally, or on other levels as well? What's some advice or what's some kind of words of encouragement that you give them when facing law enforcement? Because today it's kind of a negative connotation that comes with interacting with the law. Whether you're a woman, because they say us as Black women we're the most unprotected species, along with our Black men and along with just the youth in general. So what's some words that you can kind of give them, or what's some feelings that you have towards that they might need to know, or that can be encouraging to them when it comes to interacting with law enforcement?
So some of the things that I usually talk about a lot is whenever you're interacting with law enforcement, just be humble and comply and stay in compliance to what they're saying. Get stopped by a police officer, just don't start mouthing off. Oh, I don't like the police.
Facts.
Be over. Why are you doing this? Because sometimes that can be worse. So if you're just yes sir, yes ma'am. If you're wrong, sir, you're wrong. You know if you're right or you're wrong.
Right.
Just listen. Don't um and, and are there some negative police officers that are out there? Absolutely, there are. But a lot of good officers out there as well. If you happen to run into one that could be a really bad or racial, you racist, some of the things that I've told my kids, if you ever get pulled over by a police officer, you got your phone, record them. Because they have body worn cameras on and they will be recording you as well. They should be recording you as well. But don't make the situation worse by selling out, just running your mouth for no reason. Got a little weed on you, just tell them you got a little weed on you. And right now, that is not arrestable. It should be arrestable.
Right.
But listen, and that's what I tell my kids. My kids are grown now, but I let them know if you get stopped by the police, put your little recording on, and I just tell them to hide it somewhere. Just write it down.
It doesn't have to be like a flamboyant thing. Like you can record for your documentation.
Yeah, I didn't quite hear that one.
Oh, I was just agreeing with what you were saying, where recording maybe not all out in the open until where like you're like, hey, because it might escalate the situation. But for your documentation somewhere private or safe, that way, if something does get mishandled, if you have to go back to the situation later or when it's over, that you do have that recording then, but nothing unfortunate happens in the mix.
On the side of the
And
street,
some of the other things that I've done, and some of the other things that I've actually did is the call and number that recording, because it'll be recording the whole conversation on that recording. That's one thing that I've told, but I've always told them to just listen. I've been pulled over by law enforcement. I don't even tell them that I'm a cop. If I did something, just give me a ticket. But sometimes they just pull you over just because. I used to drive in Mercedes, never been stopped, but my tag was ran like 26 times. I was never stopped.
Good man.
Like that, I learned that later because I had somebody tag tell me how many times my rants. It's just basically listening, and I know that sometimes it could be hard for our generation, but sometimes our young generation really have to just listen.
Pipe it down.
And that's it. If you listen, yes, sir, and you know that you're not doing anything wrong, then you should be fine. You should be fine. But sometimes officers will like to try to find something else, even though there's nothing there, but they feel something there. So they're going to keep trying and keep trying. And then ultimately that can be something they say, what are you looking for? I don't have anything. So what are you looking for? So things that can irritate people as well. But just stay humble and listen to what they have to say, and that's it.
Yeah, I had one bad experience with a police officer in Tennessee. He had pulled me over, uh, and when he pulled me over, he was asking me like where I was going, because I guess I was in the left lane too long, or whatever the case may be. But then he started asking me, like the first question was he asked me if I'm who I say I am. I'm like, he's like, okay, so what you do for a living to have this nice car? Like, why do that matter?
Your car is not that nice.
Yes, it is.
Doesn't matter, but you know,
But it shouldn't matter what kind of car I drive as a young black man. I was 20 at the time. I was 20 years old at the time, and I was driving a brand new car. So it's like, that's none of your business what I do for a living. You know, if you're going to give me a ticket, give me a ticket. Then he asked, like, do you mind if I look in your car? No, you cannot.
yeah, yeah.
So it was rough, but, you know, I handled it right. You know, I wasn't going to let him slam me. I'll tell you that now.
That's when an officer's trying to find something. They're just trying to continuously instigate to try to find something, which I have no problem with that. And you know, that's where you have your good and bad. Some would just let you go, but because you are a black man driving in a nice car, doesn't mean that you're out there doing something illegal to do
Right.
that. That's the stereotype that
Mhm.
Right.
black community.
I actually, even as a female, I was in a situation when I was about maybe 23 years old. At the time, I had like a '03 Impala, kind of like a dope boy car. I had tinted windows, but it was just me and my baby. I had just bought my first cash car, and I remember being pulled over and being told I was pulled over because my plate was crooked, and they couldn't it was like the new plate or the paper plate or whatever was crooked in the area. They couldn't see it. But when they pulled me over, I didn't know why I was getting pulled over, but I got pulled over while I first seen one car. Then I was followed by 3 cars before I could even pull over. They like 4 deep. And they're out the car with their weapons like drawn, telling me like get out the car and ask me, do I have any drugs or weapons? Now, I don't know if this was a car that maybe they thought it was somebody else's car or was previously identified or it was a car that they were looking for. But I was like so kind of like shook and like scared that like and you know when you being yelled at and you're being commanded to tell them things and you're kind of like shocked yourself. It's kind of like disheartening and it's scary. It's a scary situation. So I know for a lot of people and for ones like myself that has been put in that situation, it did give me like a nasty taste in my mouth around law enforcement, maybe just like a distrusting taste. I do also try to be as calm as I can, as honest as I can. I do know one thing that I've learned from my encounters with police is like they hate when you lie to them because if they find whatever you say that you don't have, or you whatever the case may be, they're like, oh, you know, then it's got a point has to be proven because you know you lied or whatever like that. So I do think whatever you said earlier about if you got a little bit of something on you, you know, it's nothing that you know that can take you away, whatever. You know, let them know, hey, I got a little bit of weed on me. It's, you know, not gonna be that serious. Take your ticket and go ahead. But I do think that in the Black community, especially, not only with our men, but like I said, with our young women, us as a whole, that we are kind of traumatized just by like scenarios that necessarily that we wasn't put in on purpose or that, you know, we weren't supposed to be put in. So I think that's where that negative connotation comes from with us and law enforcement, just seeing other people's situation, seeing our family members being put through that, and then also enduring that stuff ourselves and not necessarily being guilty of of anything. It just makes it hard. But I do think that you explained it and you gave us some strategies to make sure that the youth and those listening that know that when this happens to them, what they can do, how they can handle it, and how to do it with poise and with integrity to make sure that if you do have a case of being handled wrongly or mistreated, that you have some evidence or some documentations to go do it on the other side. So I just want to say I appreciate you for sharing that with us, because with us being young people, indeed, he's not so young, but with us, with us,
Oh.
us being young people, and just having the listeners that we do, that's things that we need to hear. And those are things that we need to know, that we need to be able to spread when it comes to law enforcement and being more trusted, so that we can feel safe in our environments and our community. So I just want to say thank you for sharing that, along with thank you for your your achievements and whatnot.
Yeah, I just want to add something to what you said, which was, I'm going to tell you what one of my experiences have been with law enforcement as I'm a cop.
Mm.
It was in the early 1990s. There was a thing where when you're traveling from South Florida up north, that your stereotype, either trafficking, whatever the case may be, from South Florida. But we had those Miami tags back in the day. And my husband at the time and I was pulled over in this city up north, and it was about 15 police cars pulled up.
Oh.
15 police cars. Now, granted, the window got cracked by one of them 18-wheelers where the rock fell off. It was cracked a little bit. You really couldn't tell. So that's their probable cause for the stop.
They couldn't see that.
But to make a long story, all those 14 cars that pulled up, when they learned that I was a cop, a lot of them left, with the exception like two police cars stayed. The guy wanted to search our car, and my ex-husband gave him the permission to search the car at the time, and he didn't know that you could just say no. But then when they wanted my gun, and I said I'm entitled to carry my gun throughout the state of Florida, I requested for a supervisor, so he took his gun out and he put it to the temple of my head. So I'm glad that I'm here, but he made a comment that police kill other police. So to me, that's traumatizing. I've never experienced that, and I was pregnant at the time. So, we talk about the things that we've experienced in our lives, and he knew that I was a cop because I told him. But he wanted my gun. I don't have to give you my gun. He had my ID, which identified an officer, but that wasn't enough.
Were you in the state of Florida?
Yes, I was in the state of Florida.
Crazy.
I think
That's
that just
crazy.
speaks to know your us being educated as a people and knowing our rights, because a lot of times not knowing your rights, you'll just do what you're told to do, or out of fear and whatnot. And a lot of times also, when you do know your rights and you're standing up for what you have a right to do, it can be intimidating to other police officers, or whatever the case may be. I know for myself, I've always felt like leery about carrying a firearm because of getting pulled over with a firearm, especially within the last few years, and an officer being threatened by the fact that I have my legal firearm on me, and wanting to be a combative situation. That's always been something I've been kind of like scared to endure, because I've seen so many things happen in the media, with that also. So is there any maybe information that you can get us on how to really handle those tricky situations like that? We don't have to do anything too long or too deep, but just some tips and tricks on how to make sure that we stay safe in those situations that could potentially turn unsafe.
And you're saying in a situation where you are legally able to carry a firearm?
Yes, or legally able to carry a firearm, or like some stuff that we've recently seen in the media where somebody might think you're reaching for a firearm that's not there. Like, what are some go-to tips when being pulled over? Okay,
Keep your hands up.
hands up. Okay,
They
gotcha.
want your driver's license, your registration. Say, whoever it is, sir, ma'am, my driver's license registration is here. Let them know where it is.
You can reach here to get it.
Before by another officer, My weapon was in the glove box. So I told him, I said, listen, my weapon's in the glove box. I do have, then I told him I was a cop. With, and I said, I do have my ID, but I left my hands up. I'm not going to give you no opportunity to pull your gun out on me.
Right.
You just gotta, and honestly, with your hands up like this, and if they have their body worn camera,
It
which
shows.
have it on,
Um,
let them know. Listen, I do have a permit to carry, or I can legally, because right now with these firearms, there's like an extra law enforcement, because in some states you don't need a permit to carry a firearm.
You
Right.
don't in Ohio.
States that it's open to carry. So it just depends on the situation. And some law enforcement officers take that as being threatening because now you're armed and they're armed too. So it just honestly keeping your hands up and just staying in compliance. Just listen, say, and if you don't have your firearm on you, or if it's under the seat, just let them know. Listen, I do have a firearm. It's under my seat. So you're not even going that way. You just want to at least clear yourself. If it's in
Mhm.
the glove compartment, let them know it's in the glove compartment. If it's in the center console, let them know where it is. So at least that way they know.
Right.
Step out of
Robin, I got something now. I've been listening to all you guys' stories about interactions with law enforcement, and it's taking me back because I've been stopped in Tallahassee, Florida, probably, I mean, maybe 10, 20 times. Maybe. Leon County don't play, man.
Don't play.
Graduate of A&M University. So I'm from Indiana originally. So I was down on campus with Indiana tags, moving around Tallahassee with Indiana tags. I got pulled over for a tag light being out. I got pulled over because they say I double crossed the yellow line going around another car. I've gotten pulled over because they said my tags were expired and they weren't expired, but the officer tried to make an excuse like, oh, well, your state system isn't updated with my state system. You name it. And these encounters, like Nikiva said, have kind of shaped my opinion about law enforcement. But one of the things that me and Dee spoke about, I want to say maybe a couple months ago on the show, all police officers want to do is the same thing that I want to do. They want to make it to their family.
Yep.
And I can sympathize with that because I have an uncle that's law enforcement. He's a state trooper in Indiana. I know a couple other officers as well, and even yourself. I can sympathize with the fact that anyone wants to make it back home to their family. So doing all of that clowning and that cutting up and that slick talk, it's not going to get you a lot of places. The one thing that I kind of want to ask you about, and maybe this is a good thing or a bad thing, if I have a weapon with me, and it's separated from me in the vehicle, then I won't immediately disclose I have a weapon. And I do that because if it's separated from me and they pull me out of my vehicle, which a lot of the time officers like to do, if you find it in my vehicle, I'm not a threat to you away from the weapon. If I have a weapon on my hip that I'm carrying and an officer asks me like, hey, where's your weapon? And I say it's on my hip, I immediately start to think, that may be more scary for him than not knowing if I have a weapon at all. And I wanted to ask you, is that, maybe a better tactic when you're moving around as an African-American or a Black person and you do have a weapon? For me, it's like if they don't search my car and I have a weapon, okay, they don't have to know. But if they do search my car, my weapon is away from me. And if you remove me from the vehicle and you find my weapon, I cannot pose a threat to you if you have the weapon in your possession.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. You are no threat because you're not near the firearm.
Yeah.
But if it's on your person, they're going to take a different defense.
Oh, of course.
Will most likely secure the weapon for their safety. And in most cases, they'll probably put it in the glove box. They'll probably of your vehicle. So they'll find a place where you're not near the weapon, as you mentioned, in order to continue their investigation. Just know when it comes to the vehicle stops, they can stop you for anything that is a violation of for Florida, it's a Florida state statute. So anything that can, if your tag is off, that's an improper display of a tag.
Even if I had a tag light out and got stopped, that's an improper display of a tag. That's insane.
Actually, that's just your tag light is out. Your light is out.
But
So,
what I had two of them. One of them was illuminated and one of them wasn't. It's still.
that's just probable cause. And then what happens is you get the ticket. If you get it fixed, you can take that ticket. At least in Florida, is how it is. You can take that ticket to another officer. The officer look at the light, see that you fixed it, sign the little ticket in the back, and you can just mail it in that you got it fixed.
Gotcha.
So, it's just different. It's just different ways. And even though if somebody want to pull you over and they got enough probable cause to pull you over, they'll do it. If your light is out, your brake light's out, you got a cracked windshield, it's probable cause to pull you over.
Gotcha. Oh, did you have something deep?
No, I want to thank you for coming on, man. Thank you a whole lot. I've been watching your Facebook page. You've been doing a lot of things in the community. Hey, keep doing what you're doing. That last name, man, you're making it powerful. You know what I'm saying? So,
But yes, thank you for what you do in your community. We need a lot more people like you, because I'm gonna tell you right now, where I'm from, it's hard to talk to these kids nowadays. It's just super hard, and like, don't nobody care anymore. They just let them do their own things, and it's sad because when I was a kid, we had officers that really cared. You know, uh, I had a pen pal officer, and we still friends to this day. And I was pen paling him since the 5th grade. So it's like he's retired now, but we still have a relationship. So it's like we don't have that anymore.
Yeah. Do they still have the DARE programs and stuff? That
I don't
I'm coming
know.
up, we had DARE programs, all kind of programs.
I got a DARE license plate on my car right now, so the police don't.
Oh, I know in some states they may still have DARE, but DARE is kind of being pushed out in a sense. I haven't heard. I know here in South Florida there really is no more DARE programs, but I would tell you the youth nowadays really need a lot of guidance. But I would tell you our young Black men need more leaders from Black men because they support. They're getting they're calling their family their friends. And, we all probably have grown up in a house with a single parent, even with no parents around at all. Because I know my mother, she worked 2-3 jobs to make ends meet, after my father was gone. But at the same time, we knew we had to continue to do what's right. So it was just my sister, my brother, and I, my younger sister, my younger brother. My older sister, she, fortunately, she got caught up in some other things. But we didn't have that guidance. We really had each other. So we stayed in school. We stayed actively engaged. When we wanted to eat, we knew if we went to school early, we had breakfast and we had lunch. So, because we had no food in our house. But our young Black men right now, we need to build a group. Like they have 5,000 role models.
Mm-hmm.
Have 5,000 role models who are men.
Yeah,
That's for the kids, but we need 5,000 role models of Black.
Yeah, I used to be in this program called 100 Black Men. I don't know if you guys ever heard of that. And it was like literally 100 Black men. They used to go around teaching us how to do ties, fix cars, like just teaching us how to be a man. But that program is not around anymore.
No. But that's needed. That's really needed in our community. It really is. Because I knucklehead kids that don't want to listen, that's in a house by my house, smoking weed, and he get caught, and he want to just, out of that group, it's one of them that just totally negative and just hate the police. But trying to get, talk some sense into some of our young Black men, it can be very difficult.
That's facts.
I can take my uniform off and I have a better rapport. When I have it on, I do not. Because I saw the same without a uniform and he had a totally different demeanor. So it's really rough, and we don't want these young men to keep getting themselves caught up, have records, and it's going to be hard for them in the future. And that's something we have to really try to get hold on, to be honest. That's what I see.
We appreciate your time, Dr. Stark. And I just want to say, continue doing what you're doing, man, because not enough people are fulfilling that positive role of being a law enforcement officer, especially in underserved communities like most of ours are. And I say this all the time. Why would you want someone else that doesn't look like you to be policing you?
Right.
I'm a big advocate for getting into the fields. If you want to change something, then go change it. But complaining about it all day long isn't going to do anything. So appreciate your time. Congratulations on your award.
Yes, congratulations.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
Thank you all. Yeah, I really appreciate it. Anytime y'all want something, let me know.
Hey, yeah, you part of the family.
We're going to call you now.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, we're going to call you now.
Yeah, we got some events this year that we probably want you to be a part of, so we will be calling you.
Yes, for sure. I'm definitely sure that some of the events that's coming up for later in the year that you'll be a great like keynote speaker and things like that. So for sure.
Let me know, because I do a lot of traveling, so let me know.
Okay. What was that? We couldn't hear you.
I said anything you all need, just let me know.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
I will thank you for coming on, and we will talk to you a little bit later. Congratulations again, man. Please don't stop doing what you're doing.
Trust me, I'm not. As long as God give me that willpower to do it, I'm on a roll.
Mhm.
Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all. Y'all be safe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right,
That
guys,
was
man.
interview with. Oh, go ahead, D.
No, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say that's our interview with Robin Starks. We're gonna shift directions here. We're gonna shift directions here because there's a couple of things that we didn't talk about last week that we wanted to talk about. We also got a listening letter we want to bring to you, and we were gonna have a featured guest on, but I don't know where the featured guest is. I don't know if they're gonna be on, so we'll worry about it later.
You don't know.
I don't know. Man.
Hey, they don't respond. You know what I'm saying? It's like they're part of the team already.
But again, Dr. Robin Starks, man, we just did a wonderful interview with her. She's a cop out of South Florida. She got the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award recently. Man, go check her out on Facebook. She's doing some wonderful things in our community when it comes to impact and outreach, especially from a law enforcement standpoint. So shout out to Dr. Robin Starks.
Shout out to her.
So one of the things that we didn't get to touch on last week that I kind of wanted to touch on was these shorties is getting took at these concerts, man.
Why do we keep having to talk about this?
Usher got that shit started.
Hey, you know what? You know what's crazy? I thought about the whole Usher Alicia Keys situation again, and I was talking to somebody about it earlier, and they was like, "No, ain't no way, but ain't no way that Swiss Beats didn't say nothing to Alicia Keys, or it's just cool." So I want to ask y'all, man. I want to ask y'all because I'm gonna play a clip of a video. This girl was they went to the Omah Lay concert. I don't know who he is, but he's an artist. I think he's a Nigerian artist, and she went on stage, and when she got back off stage, she wasn't really single, but she wasn't with her man. I have one point
to make, but I'm gonna wait till y'all do all these clips and whatnot. Let
me play the clip.
Y'all obsessed.
Play a clip.
At this point, they obsessed.
Let's see what we got, man. Rolling the clip right now.
Roll the tape.
I ain't gonna lie, brother had a good run for 7 years. She went up there knowing this was their last day together. I would have went on stage, grabbed the microphone, paused, then said, "Have a good life, ho." Girls who do that been wanted to cheat. They wanted to try something. And in front of him too, which is very...
You right, boy. That was her last day. She walking home.
Boy, look here. Look here,
Outta
man.
here.
I ain't gonna lie. I thought Shorty was the entertainer in this situation. She came up there like she was
Bro,
performing. I thought she was the entertainer. Now that's a little bit much.
bro,
Outta here.
this is what I'm
That's a little
saying.
bit much. But yeah, it's too much y'all giving on this going on stage.
Okay, so
my thing is, do it ever not cross y'all mind? Let me roll it back to Usher and Alicia Keys. Y'all don't think that shit was staged?
even if it was, bro.
Even if it was staged, that mean they already talked about it beforehand. We just on the outside
Nah,
looking.
dog. Usher just being disrespectful as fuck. That's what he's doing at this point.
I don't think it was.
But what
staged.
y'all just showed, I ain't gonna lie.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
That was
It's getting more
actually-
and more out of hand, bro. It's getting more and more out of hand.
That's his shorty. She ain't got no respect. They don't got no respect.
But what I'm saying
That's
is
different though. That's not what
this
we're
the
talking
Keke Palmer situation all over again.
All
that's-
over again.
Keke got real disrespectful
about. No,
after
she did not.
What?
And then she made a song behind it.
She
Come on,
made
man.
a whole song about.
That girl was making love in the shadows that we just saw.
But bro, wasn't Keke Palmer on the song with Usher about
Okay, that's
her
after,
baby daddy?
after it was over with. So shit. Time to make money, time to profit.
Nah, that's
Oh,
crazy. Bro.
Hell nah. Crazy.
That's what I'm saying.
Like y'all
Straight
feel
fucking crazy.
he already said he ain't fuck with her. Now it's the problem that she gonna make money off the situation.
What we talking about?
Keke Palmer, her dude, he wasn't messing with her no more. Obviously, it was an issue. So then she like, shit, why not make a song? You ain't messing with me no more. We done. You said we over. Trying to make our baby some money for some Pampers.
Listen. I hear what you're saying. My whole thing
You
is
don't hear me though.
I do hear you.
But you
We
don't.
hear you.
My whole thing is if it was your man and he was on stage getting right with Sierra,
I could promise y'all from the bottom of my heart, if my man is on stage and Sierra was popping that thing on him, dancing on him, grinding on him, that is not about to make me leave my man. That's not about to make me mad at him when he get off that stage. I could promise you that. He's not going home with Sierra.
Well,
I
Hey,
want
Sierra,
to dance with
Sierra
Sierra.
grab a handful while they on stage. And come on.
Sierra is a married woman. First,
But hey,
of all.
it don't matter.
So that won't say that's what we say.
It don't matter. That's not a concert. What's called serenade when you get it's called serenaded?
I don't know what
Whatever.
It ain't never happened to me. I don't know
Ain't
what
That's not bothering me to the point where I'm gonna be mad at my man. Like anything, I'm like, yeah, babe, go here. Like when it's over, we going home. We had a fun night. Like you about to ruin your whole relationship over like 5 seconds of twerking. Niggas get more than that at the strip club and they bitch don't see it. What's the difference? Motherfuckers go to the strip club all the time and get way more action. The only difference is you don't know. And they give them money.
You know, I'm all for the
and they give them money.
I'm all for the dudes having their way on this one, D. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm with Nikiva on this one. But the shorties, nah.
Yeah, see, you biased. That's not
It's
cool.
a double standard.
That's not cool.
It's a double standard.
Dudes go to the strip club and give women money to do this.
I don't do that.
And men think like, oh, but it's the acceptable thing in society. Strip clubs are a very open, big thing in society, and they go pay women to dance on them. You telling me at a concert where you with your woman and y'all having fun, it's the problem that she do a 10-second 1-2 with somebody she's never gonna see again.
It's a problem.
Be for real, D.
Be
for
Hey, my thing is my girl ain't finna be on stage dancing with no goddamn Chris Brown.
So y'all
because at the end of the day, his thing get hard. Like, hey, come on. He's a man. He's a man. We got he can take your girl. He can take your girl home. Hey, once you leave with me, ain't no coming back. Ain't no coming back. No,
it's over with.
Hey, think about it.
Now your girl go, that's different. But if y'all at a concert and she just dancing with the person who's giving the concert and she's coming back to the crowd afterwards, You saying that's like a really big deal versus her. I
Hey.
can see if she left with the dude.
Send me your Ford address. Because that's where you're gonna be at. Send me your address so I can send you shit to you.
That was what I'm saying.
Y'all
bro.
hot for no reason.
Is it wrong to say that we would rather our shorty just turn the thing down? Just be like, nah, I don't want to go say.
It's not wrong, but I think it's just like really like fucking.
Hey, it's all depending how the disrespect come out. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think it's this. I think it's disrespectful depending upon.
So if you grinding and giving a person a lap dance, that ain't disrespect.
I think it's.
Hey, let me play the clip again so y'all can see. Let me play the clip again. Hold on.
Everybody has a different level of what disrespect is.
Hold the phone.
Now, to me, if y'all can't go to the strip club, but you can't go.
She's straight trying to get the pants up. Come on now, come on. No.
I ain't gonna lie, brother had a good run for 7 years. She went up there, no.
When I watch it the second time, I see like when she dropped low. Dropped low.
That's not even the whole clip.
It was a little different.
That ain't even the whole clip. That's the crazy part.
All right. Well, what I will say is that was a lot. But my point still stands the same.
Hey, listen. All I'm saying is
men go pay for that at the strip club.
But
so
there's
it's okay for her to get away free.
There's a certain bit of privacy at the strip club. I'm not in front of the whole world.
I mean, VIP.
I do it on my phone.
But
I'm in
not
VIP. Phones ain't even allowed in the strip club.
They not.
What?
You can't be on your phone in the strip club.
The last time you went to one.
So many strip club videos in my phone. It's crazy.
Because you're a shorty, probably.
I'm probably a shorty.
No, I'm saying it's probably.
He said probably.
Yeah, Lee. But
probably.
I ain't never gonna be comfortable with it. Maybe some dude.
I get it though. I get it though. You shouldn't be comfortable with it, but I mean, I don't think it's nothing to make a big riff-raff over. Like talk your little shit and let it go.
So other than that, man, that's some bullshit. I don't support it, but
it's a biased situation right now. And you know what? Kenyatta, I'm tired of you leaving me on here with these two.
I'm glad you're doing it.
I'm tired of you leaving me on here with these two because they ain't doing right.
Hey,
your other homegirl left you too.
Boy, you Shannon Sharp was in the media early. I'm gonna drop that picture on y'all.
We are here. We are.
Straight gay vibes.
You know what, man? I want to talk about this because I saw so much negative commentary in the
they just messing with him.
Comments.
They messing with him.
But let me say one thing, bro.
You messing with yourself.
Sharp Football Hall of Fame, and his body, I think he done had several surgeries from what I saw.
2 hip replacements. And I forgot what else.
Several surgeries. The 2 things that I don't agree with is the man bag. And y'all know I done stood firm on
he don't play about the
I don't play about them man bags, them fanny packs, none of that.
Gay pack.
Cause why you got that much stuff on you that you need a fanny pack?
I mean, maybe he got his pistol, he got his bread in there. He got
I went me. You feel me?
You wear yours
That's
different.
a purse. Hey, first of all, it ain't no man bag. That's a purse.
Whatever you want to call it.
Call it what you want to call it. That's a straight purse. Come on now.
Whatever you want to call it. So I'm very anti-man bag, and I done stood on that since we started.
Get you a book bag. You know what I'm saying? Come on.
And I wish Calvin was in here because
he like man bag. I mean girl bags.
Calvin don't play about
Calvin will be on us about right now. Second thing is the outfit looks like something that my shorty would have on.
It's like a little 2-piece legging set.
Straight out of City Screen.
You feel me? Like that. The outfit look like something my old lady would have on,
like
bro.
A 2-piece legging
and that's crazy because you know what this look like? This look like Fashion Nova men. This look like no bap, man.
He said Fashion Nova.
Fashion Nova men. That's what it look like. I'm talking about the fit ain't got no.
Then look at the shoes and the pocketbook. He matching like head to toe. Come on.
And the cameraman just happened to caught his ass standing weird, and it didn't make the situation no better, bro. it didn't make the situation any better. But I'm Shannon. If you see this, dish the man bag and don't never buy no more of these tight ass leggings. That's ridiculous.
Too real.
I feel like no.
What you was finna say? Come on, give
No,
a
I
woman
was
an
gonna say
opinion on it.
no. I was gonna say I don't think that man should be wearing that leggings set like
That's
that.
what I'm saying, man.
Hey,
A woman.
That's not what I would be into. Is like a 2-piece legging set, olive green with the matching orange bag.
Shout out to the FAMU colors he do got on.
But I mean, he's an older guy, guys. Like he's an older guy. The taste is different these days. He's only like you see his legs. They was making fun of how he's standing like that. But that's because he got like 2 hip replacements. He bow-legged. He been like a football player for hella years.
nah, damn. He ain't got to stand like that. Nah, damn.
I was gonna pull these cars on.
Hey, well, you know what? Listen, all I'm saying is, Shannon, I ain't messing with it, bro.
I ain't
But
feeling it, bro.
he is dead wrong for talking about how he's
Shannon,
staying.
You had a good video. He's like, we are here to do this.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Nah, it was funny though, but we standing with you, Shannon Sharp. I don't know if they stand.
I ain't standing with the handbag or the outfit.
I'm standing with you, not the outfit, not the handbag. But what you represent though, we here for it.
Yeah.
Club Shay Shay.
So I'm gonna take Shannon down, bro, because we don't want to keep doing that man like that. But listen,
Did we talk about Diddy?
nah,
In
we
the
gonna
73-page lawsuit.
listen, we did last week, but we might have to touch Diddy next week. We had an hour.
It's getting
Yeah, cause they started to disconnect us our platforms. But hey, we do have a listener letter though.
You want to touch on now? You want to touch on next week? We had an hour.
Hey man, we can't. Hey, yeah, because they started to disconnect us off some platform.
we can only go an hour
on Instagram.
Yeah.
I mean, I could go back. I could go back live now.
We still on Facebook.
Hey, let's run it. Let's run it then. Let's run it. Hey, Facebook.
Yeah.
You got your Paul D.
Let's run it.
Your Paul.
No, I got Hey, I like Modelo.
Me and Jordan taking the shot.
Not only because I like it, they're gonna start paying.
Hold up. Oh, we already live again on Instagram, baby.
We went live twice.
We went live
Instagram.
again. So the listener letter, man. Let me open this up, read it to y'all real quick. Hold on.
Hey, we didn't even send it to the group because we wanted to see first impression.
What?
I said me and Jordan only read this here, but Nikita, you're gonna be sharp.
Oh, I haven't heard it. Okay.
So the listener letter reads, "Hello, D-Stock Show. My 12-year-old daughter is 6 weeks pregnant with my best friend's son, who is 14 years old. My friend wants me to have my daughter get an abortion, but I do not believe in abortions. She had the nerve to tell me that if I decide to let my child have the baby, she was not going to support the baby. Furthermore, that the baby was not going to stop her son from going to college like she planned.
Wait, these ones, okay, 12.
And that her son will not be paying child support because he will be focusing on getting him a scholarship for college, not working, trying to raise a baby. I know the majority of you all have kids, so what would you do if you were in the situation? Please give me some good feedback."
Woo! I am very much caught off guard. I think I'm a little too tipsy to even answer this with the right recollection. For one, these kids 11 to 12, she's talking about college, she ain't paying child support. Like, you're thinking very much long term, mom. Okay, I feel you. But I just think that ultimately, I don't know what I would do in this situation. I think I do not think the kids are equipped with the mind, with the reason, with the understanding to make the decision, which they are underage, so it's really not their decision. Because I know for Indiana, until you're over the age of 13, your sexual outcomes or decisions are up to your parents. But once you're over the age of 13, you do have the choice of which, if you want to disclose pregnancy or things like that to your parents. That's something I know for sure. But with them being 11 and 12, for one, the parents have to take some responsibility in this, because when did the kids have time to have
it was 14 and wasn't it 14 and 12?
No, 11 and 12.
It was
11 and
14
13.
and 12. The 12-year-old daughter is pregnant by a 14-year-old boy.
Okay, still that's really not like a big difference. As far as age, that's not a big difference. It sounds different, but it's really not a big difference. Just being honest. But where were these kids at where they were able to have sex? That's number one. I mean, parents have to take some accountability, and then y'all have to see what are y'all gonna do, because either way it goes, no matter what you guys decide to do, each party is going to have to be accountable. Now, if you want to say as the mother, like your son, he's not going to pay child support, he's not going to do this. Well, he had sex too. This girl did not sit there and lay on her back, and she should not be subjected to feel like she's been in this situation, by herself, and she's trying to trap your 14-year-old son that you think got a football career. Like, forget that. Y'all gonna have to figure out how to make it do what it do. If y'all gonna do anything, if y'all decide for these kids not to have this kid, that's on y'all too. I don't think it's no harm, no foul for me. I feel like women should have rights, whatever they want to do with their body. I also think that fathers should have a say so on whatever they want to do when it comes to whatever. But these are minors when you think about it. So it's like the parents kind of have the last say so. But I think everything that they're mentioning is really below the surface of what needs to even be talked about. Child support, college, football career. We're dealing with what's happening right now. What's happening right now is our kids are having sex and they got a baby on the way. So what we gonna do about it? What's gonna be the situation? Nobody's trying to trap your son. Nobody's trying to make a whore of your daughter. But this is what they've done.
Me as a father, as a young man, I think as a father, hey, you chose to do grown folk things. You're gonna take care of that child. I don't believe in abortion. That's one thing. I know the kids, but they still did things that grown folk do. They had a baby. So if it was my son, hey, your life's gonna be a little tough for you. You may still go to school, but you still got a child to take care of. Summertime,
I respect that. I respect that, D. I think that everybody entitled to their own opinion. I'm pro whatever you want to do that's for the best for your situation. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like doing whatever's best for you in your situation means doing whatever's going to be best for the people in that situation. So as a parent, if you guys decide that, hey, our children are going to have this baby, then as a parent, you also have to remember too, like, you're raising kids that's raising kids. So yeah, they made grown folks' decision, but ultimately you're gonna be helping your kids raise their kids. You know what I'm saying? So it's just all about what you're willing to do, what you're willing to sacrifice. I think in this situation, I wouldn't be able to give anybody some advice because I really do not know what I would do in that situation. I think you need to have some real long talks with your kids and see what they want to do, because even though we have our beliefs as parents, D, those kids could be like, we don't want to have this baby. And who are we to be like, this little girl is going to have this baby and this guy is going to father him? You know, whatever the situation may be, I just pray that y'all get some closure with it. I can't give no advice on that. I think that's going to be up between you, that child, that other parent, the other child, and God, and y'all going to have to figure it out, because I would be shitting on myself right now.
Yeah, one of our listeners say, "Hey, 12 is crazy." I would ask my daughter what she wants to do.
Yeah, you gotta ask.
I know you gotta ask, but I'm saying, everybody believe different. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to abortion, I feel like if she have an abortion, when the people fail to realize the effects that abortion have on a woman. If a woman have an abortion, it can affect them for having kids later in life when they get ready to have kids.
That's true.
And when a woman carries a child, they get close to that child. You know what I'm saying? That's a life. You know what I'm saying? So, what's the difference from going out shooting somebody? That's murder, in my eyes. You know what I'm saying? But everybody believe different. But I got a daughter too. I feel like if my daughter go out and do something like that and have a baby or get pregnant, I'm gonna be upset. But as a parent, I think I'm gonna step up and raise my grandchild, for my child to continue with school and getting through life, because she made a mistake. But as my friend making a comment like her friend made, that's foul. You know what I'm saying? For you to say, hey, look, my child, it's okay for my child to mess her life up, but your child gonna continue going on with his life. You know what I'm saying? I feel like as a parent, that wasn't something she should have said. She should have been like, hey, look, we're in this thing together. You know what I'm saying? We've been friends. Now we grandparents together. We're not saying our kids getting married or anything, but hey, look, they do share.
We're gonna
time
do what we
together.
gotta do.
Right. So
Yeah, I think really just to each his own. And just to be 100% transparent, like I can't pick a side right now. I'm not in a situation. I'm not those. I can't give y'all advice, and I can't really pick a side right now or give in totality the way I would feel if that was me or my situation. But what I can say is that no one person should be trying to lead the other person, hanging in a situation as if the kids make the decision one by one on their own. They kind of like, they have to do it together. So no one child's success is better or above the other one if that's all the child looking at as far as what the decision making is going to be based on.
I like the comment that the young lady, Jordan, can you put it up and we address that comment? I like the comment that she made. The last
got
one
some comments, man.
It's the last one there. But everybody got different beliefs.
My girl on here, period. I didn't even see you, boo.
Everybody's beliefs are different, but you also got to take into consideration that raising a child is life changing. I want my child to know I support their decision either way. Yeah, that's big, man.
And I agree to that. I agree, and everybody's beliefs is different. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, them kids did something. I'm like you, Nikki. What was the parents? You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
how did they have time to do this? You know what I'm saying?
To each his own, because it's gonna be like, what do you decide to do? I would be like a hypocrite to say what I wouldn't put up with and what I wouldn't do right now because I'm not in that situation. I don't know what what I'm saying, what I would do. But I think it's just kind of foul just to say what your son is and is not going to do as a 12-year-old
Right.
talking about when he goes to college. You know what I'm saying? You haven't even gave that young man a chance to say what he think or what he feel, and what he feel may not be up to par right now, or maybe like thinking ahead or whatever the case may be, but you have to take into consideration that these are the two that make this decision.
And then again, you got to think about it. In some states, he's 14 and she's 12. A 2-year difference in some states is rape. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
If her friend want to get nasty, hey, your son raped my daughter. So now his career still messed up. He still ain't going nowhere.
I think one of the things that you want to take into consideration too, and it's kind of like what Akiva's friend commented on, having a kid with somebody is life changing. Just and not even just because you had a kid with them, but just the sheer amount of responsibility that it takes to raise a child. You know what I'm saying? Let alone at the age where you're still a child is a lot. That's a lot to process. So I don't think that I would like pressure my child either way. I used to say, that if my daughter ever had like a baby, I would heavily consider abortion. And the only reason I will say that is because I understand how you can make a mistake and you don't necessarily know it's a mistake until you're mid-mistake. And I'm not saying that that I will force anybody to do anything.
Yeah.
But I agree with that very pro-choice statement that we talk about a lot of the time. Like, I'm not here to tell no woman what to do, like with her body or not with her body or whatever the case may be. But in a particular situation where you got kids involved, you have to make it expressly clear that if you have this kid, if you have this child, then your life is going to change. Man or woman, your life is going to change. It's not going to be whatever you think it is. And I'm not saying that you can't live a good life and have a kid at an early age, because you can. However, it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of discipline. It takes a lot of resources.
At that point, then, what is the changing factor in what are we going to do?
Because you got to think about it like this. Even if they weren't underage, even if they were regular age adults, if a man says that he doesn't want to have a baby and a woman says that she does want to have a baby, well, yeah, technically it does. But this is the thing. The only person that suffers is the kid at the end of the day, the child.
Yeah.
So without taking into factor consideration that you're going to bring a child into a space where there's not going to be a father potentially, I think that's more detrimental to our community than potentially having an abortion. And I say that because the number of fatherless children or males without a role model. We talked about it earlier when Robin was on the show. The number of males that we have running around with no positive leadership, no role models, no father figures, and they're just being raised by single women who may have a bitterness towards their father. They may not. They may not. Whatever the case may be, it's gonna be difficult for that child to navigate in a world where you need those masculine characteristics.
And women and men, if y'all watching, chime in. Dan, thank you for chiming in on this. I think that you gave some great feedback. And Indonesia Felix is one of my friends on here, but I agree. I definitely agree with what Jordan is saying. Like I said, it's very hard for me to speak to this fact, and even it's kind of making me a little emotional having a daughter myself, because the ages that we're speaking of are 12 to 14, and that's not too many years away from the ages, of my daughter or little girls that's close to me. So having to deal with a question of whether to keep or to not keep, or even think about the traumatization of having an abortion, going to a clinic, going through that.
Yeah.
That's also traumatizing. I mean, some might say it is the easy way out, but that's also a very traumatizing situation that you do not forget. Versus having maybe like a miscarriage or something like that, where that's something that happens naturally and you cannot have anything, you don't have anything to do with it. Having to make the decision and then live with the decision, even as a child, and not knowing any better or knowing better, is crazy.
I think
okay.
has another comment.
I'm gonna read it if you could show it.
It's on the screen.
So she says that I only say that because I had a child at 17 and was very embarrassed for myself. I myself wanted an abortion, and my dad told me to my face, we don't do abortions, and his mom said she wasn't going to hell for us. It gave me a sense of relief to know at least we have support, but I can say I wasn't ready at all. Nevertheless, 12 years later, we're here. LOL. And yeah, and for sure, because whatever the situation that comes out of it and whatever decision you decide to make, we're gonna live with it. It's gonna continue to go on, you know what I'm saying? And it's gonna be what it's gonna be, but we have to make the best decision that's for our household, our kids, ourselves. And that's why I said I don't think I could speak on it really, even to be, comfortably, to be honest, because I don't know what I would do if it was mine right now. I don't know what I would do.
For me, man,
besides get their input first and then try to figure out and decipher and make that decision. But those are some really delicate ages. That's the only thing I can really say.
Yeah, that's crazy. When I read the letter, I was like, wow,
that's deep.
The only thing that you could really do is just prepare your kids for the world. And I think being involved in your kid's life, as a man, as a father, is second to none. And especially when you got little girls and you have to instill certain values in them to try to mitigate these things, you still can't stop it. You know what I'm saying? You still can't 100% prevent anything. It is what it is. But I think that honestly, just gauging how your kids feel about the situation. And to your comment, I don't know how to say your name. I think it's in Adina. But to your comment, those are excellent words for someone who has a support system. A lot of the times, I think that if a young lady or a young man is having sex and making kids at an early age, they probably don't have a major support system.
Hey, Jordan, I do have a question for you, because you do got two young girls. Away from them having a kid on the way or being pregnant with a kid, the comment that the parent made, how do you address the other parent? If a parent, one of your friends told you what her friend told her about her daughter, how do you react?
Well, this is my thing. I have to be realistic and understand how that other parent feels. And at that point, for my daughter, I would tell my daughter, like, listen, you laying down with a man and you don't even know his mom or his family or how they take on you having a baby. So you can't fault them about how they feel with the situation. Yeah, your son did this and he was a willing participant. However, you still got the right to feel however you want to feel. You know what I'm saying? But bottom line, you can't force your views on the situation, because if her son really wants to be involved with that child, he'll be involved regardless of what the mother's gonna say. So, you know, to me, if you grown enough to have sex at 14, then you grown enough to man up to it. You know, at that same age, to understand that that comes with a lot of responsibility. So I'm not mad at the other parent for wishing better for her son because he made a mistake. I totally get it. However, at this stage in the game, the decision really isn't yours. It's kind of this young man.
That's where I kind of fall on with my feelings with the thing is like, because the way the other mom came off is kind of like, well, we're not doing that. This is, you know, and if she do
that's
decide,
her right though.
that's her right to feel that way. But still, you have to remember your child is, like you said, a willing participant in the situation. You can feel that way, but ultimately, as an adult, over a minor, what you feel and your influence is going to influence what they do and what they can do going forward until they're able to make decisions on their own. So it's not fair if you feel that way, but your child might not feel that way, but you're putting that influence on them, and then that's taken away, you know, from the situation. I don't know if I'm saying,
but listen to what I'm about to tell you. A lot of people, well, I say this all the time, accountability is a long word for a lot of people. Right. So if that child's mother is not gonna hold him accountable, he's gonna have more major problems down through life.
Yeah.
That's neither here nor there. But again, me talking to my daughter is, hey, you have to be accountable because you're gonna bear the brunt of this situation because you're the one that's pregnant. So I'm not about to go and argue with somebody else who maybe got their mindset versus trying to take care of my daughter at home and tell her, hey,
I mean, yeah, for sure.
This was a mistake.
At that point, it's like, what we gonna do and what we not gonna do.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not gonna argue with the other parent. This was a mistake that you made. We have to figure out how to fix it. We can't do none of that crying right now because
I mean that's how we feel. But in the listener letter, she's asking us our advice based on what the other party tripped the conversation. What would we think?
It's nothing you could do about that.
Yeah,
that's just me being 100% real with you.
Yeah,
I don't agree with how the other parent is taking the approach, but that's nothing I can do about that. That's not my child. I can't hold that person accountable if they don't want to be accountable for
whatever decision ends up being made by whoever the most willing party is, then that's what it's gonna have to flow in. Then they're gonna have to go from there.
And now for my daughter, we're gonna have to handle this, and I'm gonna give you the real deal. This family doesn't want to be involved from what they're stating to us. So what do you want to do in this particular situation? And I'll tell her
continue to not want to be involved because a lot of times,
if they continue or they don't.
So you put that decision on a 13-year-old?
If they continue or they don't, that's beside the point.
Yeah, for sure.
What we're doing right now, I'm running through this scenario with you, telling you it was a bad decision, telling you your options to get out of it. So again, I'm not gonna force my hand either way, but the reality of it is, in being a parent, I've understood that you have to be more truthful with kids than not, because kids not dummies. They understand. My 2-year-old understands a lot of things that I say. She may choose to ignore some of the things or act like she don't understand what I'm saying, but she understands. So at a cognitive level for a 14-year-old, you gotta comprehend.
I think we all agreeing on the same page. I think we all agree on the same page of what the end result will have to be, which is whatever decides to be done, one of the parties that and honestly it's usually the woman party is going to have to figure out how is this going to look for them and know that their decision, whatever they make, this is what's going to come with it, along with the guy. But I mean, if we're just really talking realistically, it is very different. I think that for Jordan to like even say that as a father, and D, for you to say how you feel as a father, I think that shows like a tremendous stance on being there for your child. You know what I'm saying? D said he's against abortion. You know, like, if this is what happened, if I gotta raise a child, I will. It just is what it is. And I think that goes with supporting your child even through their wrong decisions, because that comes with having a child. You know what I'm saying? Some people may say that abortion is the easy way out. I just think, in my opinion, to each his own. Whatever you choose to do is whatever you choose to do. But just know that once you make their decision, you have to have it's something that comes along with it. And whether that's trauma, whether that's having a child and having to raise it, having to struggle, and having to know what it is to be a young parent, either way, it's something that comes to it. But I will say that this is one of the listener letters, one of the first listener letters that really put me in a situation I feel like I was kind of unable to speak to, because it was hard for me to put myself in those shoes, even having like a child and a daughter myself. I was trying to like do my best to keep on like putting myself in those shoes, and it was really, really hard. We've had some crazy listener letters, but I think that that one was really touching. I actually want to thank the listener who wrote in for trusting us with y'all story and wanting us to, you know, speak on it and kind of give our opinion on it, because we all got different opinions. They kind of come together at the end, but you know, we all got different opinions and whatnot. So I think that was a really crazy letter, y'all.
On that letter, I basically just say do what's best for your family. I know you asked for our opinion. My opinion is, hey, look, I don't believe in abortion. If my daughter got a child, I'm gonna take care of the child. And if my son went out and had a child, I will let the other family know, hey, look, we're gonna be here to support that child. With anything you did, my son made a mistake, I'm gonna be here for you. That's my closing remarks on that. What you got, Jordan?
Man, nothing. I said pretty much everything that I got to say on the subject. You know, being a parent is understanding that your child is going to make mistakes, also supporting them through that. But the same thing is that accountability piece has to be there. So when it comes to raising this child, waking up in the middle of the night, taking care of them, making sure they got food, clothes, and shelter, I don't mind doing that, but I'm not going to bear the brunt of that for my child. Because if I do that, again, that accountability piece is going to fade away. And that's just being realistic. Like, I'm not going to sit and play like this is gonna be easy. It's not gonna be easy. And although I'll help you through it, even God tell you He gonna help you through all of your struggles, but it ain't gonna be easy. That's just the reality to it. So I'm 100% with supporting my child, whichever way it goes, whichever party it is. However, I am not going to throw 100% of my support behind this, because you got to pick up the slack. You made an adult decision. You have to be partially responsible for this. That's no different from a teenager at 14 or 15 killing a person. Okay. You made an adult decision. You have to be held accountable and responsible for this. You know, again, I'm going to support you through it, but I'm not going to bear the brunt of this issue for you. I won't do it. I won't do it. My job is to be a parent to the point where you won't end up in these situations. You know what I'm saying? My job is to make sure that you don't have to be exposed to the consequences or the ramifications of making a mistake like this, so that you can grow up and have a decent life. That's the bottom line, man. And it's crazy. We got 5 viewers in here, 4 likes, and we really need to end this show because we're at 1 hour 30, man.
Yeah, we usually don't.
Kenyatta already said that they can't take long form content, man. Watch maybe 30 minutes of this show and be like, man, I'm done.
They might have tuned in late though. It was a topic worth talking about.
They may have tuned in late, and you know what? Maybe we'll start doing like maybe 2-hour shows once a month or something like that. But for our regular shows, man, we gotta try
to limit to 1 hour.
Yeah, that's it.
It's a new platform, man. We're getting used to it.
And you know what? Usually with our audio and stuff, we a lot more, I think, uncut and live, and I think that we bringing that more to the Facebook entertainment now, to Instagram and the different platforms and stuff like that. We will be letting you guys know ahead of time when we're going live, so y'all can be anticipating these drops and things like that. Just work with us. We're switching over, y'all, but we thank y'all for participating, for tuning in. And we here with it. It is what it is. The D Stark Show, baby.
Yeah, listen, we ain't going nowhere.
Big Kiva Key. Y'all see my
Hey, get yourself a Modelo.
Man, listen.
Clink.
We also on this kick of getting sponsors. I ain't gonna, you know, so I'm normally on tequila. Today I'm not on tequila. I'm on cognac. But I think I'm gonna just chill on. Come on, I'm just buttoning my shirt. That's all. Anyway, this has been another episode.
Like a commercial for y'all.
This has been another episode of the D Stark Show, man. Check us out. Check us out. We ain't going nowhere. We're gonna continue to bring you these live face-to-face shows. We'll be at Smokes and Jokes on the 21st of this month to do some comedy
That's on
feedback.
Lake Street.
So on Lake
And
Street, it's that
Dialogue.
Dialogue Cigar Bar, and there's like another section.
It's the cigar bar and wine bar
Yeah.
connected on South Lake Street and Miller. Y'all probably see me there all the time. No, I'm just joking, but I'll be there.
So we'll be out there on the 21st. That's a Thursday. We probably won't be doing a regular show. We'll be out there politicking, doing a live show, commentating, getting feedback, and meeting some of the comedians that'll be performing. So stay tuned for that. And we out.
Y'all
We
get
out.
to
Holla at you guys later.
Key.
All right, man. We out.